What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Doubted. My name's Christian Montuano, and today I'm here with Belmont Commit and standout on Lumiere. Jack Smiley, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Jack, tell everybody where you're from and just what it's been like for you growing up in your hometown where you grew up.
I'm from Valparaiso, Indiana, and actually, to be honest, I was born in Florida, like Weston, Florida, but I moved to Valparaiso, Indiana, and grew up there when I was about 6 years old, and lived there ever since, and just started playing basketball at a really young age, and fell in love with it.
Who were some of those early basketball influences for you? It could be like a parent, a player that you grew up watching, a coach, just anybody that had a big impact on you in basketball.
I'd probably say my dad, just at a young age, he kind of put a ball in my hand, and I fell in love with it. But growing up, Um, I started to watch Steph Curry, and just seeing the things he did in his prime when I was young was like extremely inspirational to me. And I kind of just wanted to be like him when I grew up.
So your dad started you in basketball?
Yes,
He's the one
sir.
who got you into. Did he play when he was younger?
No, I mean, he played in high
Okay.
school, but he didn't play college. He played college soccer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, did anybody in your family like play basketball really, or are you're the first?
No, I'm the first. My mom played college softball. My dad played college soccer. So I'm the first.
Okay. Hey, well, athletic family though. Athletic family. So you mentioned Steph Curry was like a player that you grew up watching, and I mean, I did my research. It always seems like when people ask you like who you model your game after, you always say Steph.
Yeah.
But I mean, Indiana's a state that loves basketball, and basketball is huge there. So I'm sure there were a lot of players coming out of that state that you watched growing up, like some high
Mhm.
school players that
Yeah.
stood out to you and were impactful. So, could you name any of those players that you just grew up watching at the high school level or anything like that?
Yeah. One's from my hometown. His name's Brandon Newman. He went to Purdue. I was a
Okay.
huge fan of him. I went to all the games when I was younger, and getting older, I kind of get to know him, and now I'm actually friends with him. I've worked out with him a couple times in the summer when he's home, but just I kind of watched him growing up because he was a mentor for me at my old high school.
Yeah, I know Valparaiso, like, there's a college there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so growing up there, like, growing up where the high school, I'm sure, had big basketball games over there. Like, I mean, just from highlights and things like that, it just looks like the gym there is huge.
Yeah.
It gets pretty electric in there. And then I'm sure having a college in your hometown is cool too, being able to go to those games. So, what was it like for you moving there and just being a part of that community, that basketball environment?
It's been incredible. Like you said, Indiana is like basketball state, and I used to go to Valparaiso University games when I was younger too. They were good when I was younger, and they're starting to get good again now. But a guy I really remember was Alec Peters. He used to light it up, man. He was fun to watch too.
Yeah. Um, and then what about the Hoosiers? Did you watch them at all? Like Indiana Hoosiers, like that those teams
Yeah,
growing up?
I've always been a basketball junkie. I've watched IU, Purdue recently. Obviously, when Brandon Newman went there, that was kind of my
Right.
favorite team. Just watching Purdue, but I've also watched IU. I watched Yogi Ferrell, Victor Oladipo, guys like
Hmm.
that. So I really just watched a ton of basketball.
For sure. Yeah, so you said Brandon, like you being able to get to know him now and actually work out with him and get to kind of get a feel of how he plays or how he trains, how he gets his work in, and you could pick that up and apply it to your own workouts and things like that. So just how cool has that been for you, just being able to work out for him? And I'm sure just you've also been able to work out with some other players or get to meet other players that you grew up watching. Just how is that for you being able to actually get to know them and work out with them?
It's been amazing just learning from so many different players from the region, just like especially Brandon. When I got to know him, I noticed that he would work out every day and it would be efficient. He would go early in the morning and then he'd go late at night, and he kind of just taught me that. Our trainer together, his name's Spike Albrecht, who played at Michigan, and Brandon got to know him because he was on staff at Purdue for a little bit. And we worked out together with him, and just being around a bunch of high level guys helps me in my development. Another guy I'd like to say is a guy named Eugene German, who's from Gary. I worked out with him a couple times. Just watched him work out too at like the local YMCA, but then got to play in some open runs with him, and just to see how much of a competitor he is, how much he loves the game, and how hard he plays, that he just inspires me to be the best version of myself I could be too. Just picking up things from multiple different people, just applying it to myself and my game.
Yeah. Sounds like you're a big film guy. Like
I am.
you,
Yeah.
yeah. How how effective and how beneficial has that been for you now playing at a school like La Lumiere where you're playing against some of the best players in the country, and we'll get into like EYBL stuff later, but you're used to playing against talent like that. So how have you seen just you putting in that work off the court, studying film, studying tendencies, things like that? How important has that been to you on the court?
The mental side of it is almost just as important as the physical side. Watching film, like today in practice, we went over a ton of other teams' actions, and just watching the film, running it over is helps tremendously because you know what they're going to do in the game, just outsmart them. And I take that to my game because sometimes I'm not the most athletic or the tallest guy on the court. So just being able to use my high IQ I have to watch film, outsmart guys, be in the right positions at the right time helps a lot. And sometimes watching too much film hurts me. I got a story when I was at Valpo last year. My English teacher wrote me up because I was watching too much huddle instead of supposed to be reading a book. So she got me in trouble, but she was really cool about it, and we just moved on from it. But I definitely watch a lot of
Yeah.
film.
Hey, well, I mean, you can tell you're passionate about what you're doing, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. You know, you it wasn't like you were slacking off or anything, so that's a good thing. Was there? You mentioned some of your trainers and coaches like earlier, just now. Did one of them kind of get you started on watching film, or is that something that you kind of just did growing up, like watching basketball all the time, like you said you were doing?
None of them really told me I should watch film. I kind of just watched a lot of basketball on highlights and stuff. And then once I got to the high school level, I kind of got implemented like huddle and seeing film. And once I got to like someone showed me that and I got to watch games that I couldn't go to and see, I just started to do it a lot. And I thought it was interesting because I'd much rather be watching film in class rather than reading a book. So just
Yeah.
ways to watch film whenever I can was just, I'd say, honestly fun to me because I like to watch a lot of basketball.
That's what you do like kind of on your downtime, or you do like kind of when you're bored, when you're just chilling, you just like watch games sometimes?
Yeah, like right now I was just watching the Duke game. Obviously, I
Okay.
have my life. Like I play video games too. I'm a normal kid.
Yeah. Right.
I just watch a lot of basketball, watch a lot of film, but I still do other things that normal kids do.
For sure. Um yeah, so I want to transition like to just your experience, your time with Indy Heat on the EYBL circuit. When did you first start playing with them, with that
Uh,
program?
Time I played with them was 15U. I played with them 15U, 16U, and 17U. I kind of just went to the tryout my 15U year and I made it, and then they stuck with me ever since.
Right. So, I mean, you being on that like original EYBL squad, that 15U team, and just going through those 3 years, like adding new pieces to the team, all that, just big pieces too. Like, I mean, you got Jalen, you got um, Brady, you got Fears, like you got all these guys. Like, just what's it been like for you going through that and just getting a new piece and just that taking your team to the next level? How cool has that been for you?
It's been awesome. Just first off, just meeting new guys, year in and year out. I met Brady my 16U year. I knew Jalen my 15U year because he was in the program too. He always played up. And then I met Jeremiah 17U year, and all of them, like I'm Jalen's roommate now. I've been best friends with him for 3 years. Brady, he was
Mm-hmm.
my best friend when I first met him 16U year, and then Jeremiah, just a really cool dude who's killing it at Oklahoma now.
Killing
But
it.
playing on the teams like year in and year out, just playing my role, not doing too much, doing what I need to do to win, and that's just how I've been playing.
Right. Yeah, I think like you'll have games where I think you really like you get the ball in your hands and you show what you can do when you have that opportunity, like you have playing your role. But then some games like people might be focused on somebody else and you just go off, you drop 20, 30 points like in an
Yeah.
EYBL game. So just what's that mindset? Is it just, hey, like I get that opportunity, I'm ready for it? Like what is that mindset when you step on the court playing with other great players where you got to play your role and you have to do as much as you can, whether that's playing hard on defense or getting a loose ball, something like that. Just what's that mindset for you?
I'm a competitor, so I just do whatever it takes to win, whether that's scoring, assisting, playing defense. And then coming into every game, I just got to trust myself, trust the work I put in. But then also, some games, like you said, guys are hot. I'm going to give them the ball and let them keep going. And if I'm open, I'm going to shoot the ball. And if I hit it, my teammates are going to keep finding me and just keep knocking down shots. So just doing whatever it takes to win is kind of just what I've been doing my whole life.
So what do you remember taking it back to 15U, that first year playing at that level? What do you remember about that year? Was it like a big adjustment year for you? Just how was that first year?
Yeah, it was. I'd say it was a big adjustment. I feel like my first tournament, I got exposed because I was like, whoa, like these guys are actually good playing against guys around the country, and it motivated me to go home and work harder and come back the next year and be even better, and then the next year and be even better. So just I feel like it was almost eye opening my first year to um, like I just needed to get better because I wasn't really killing my 15U year. I was kind of just doing good, doing decent, doing my job, but I was motivated to do even better.
And then your 16U year, did Jalen like were they there? Well, Brady, you said you met him 16U, so I'm guessing he joined your squad that year?
He was at. They actually put him on the red team, which is the second team, and then
Oh,
they moved him up for I think the fourth session, and when we went to Peach Jam, we played in the pit, but they moved him up the last two sessions. So I met him
okay.
of the year, and Jalen played up, so he played 17U my 16U year.
So, what do you remember about that 16U year?
Um, I'd say we had a lot of ups and downs. Some tournaments we were amazing, and some tournaments we were awful. But just being able to move on to the next game and play every game like it was your last was kind of something I learned because, like 15 year, we didn't make Peach Jam, and that's what our goal was for 16 years to make Peach Jam. So every game mattered from the beginning of the first session to the last game of the last session. So just every game mattered, to be honest.
And then you playing 15U, then 16U, but then like you said Jalen played up. Did was Jeremiah with you guys at
Mm.
that time? He was
He was
with another
Brad.
program. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
with Brad Beal. But yeah, like your 17U year, getting to play with Jalen, playing with Brady, and then Jeremiah being on that team too. Just heading into that summer, was that like a big exciting time for you guys, just knowing that y'all had like some really big time pieces around that could make a run?
Yeah, for sure. My that summer going into my that summer going into was it my 17th year. I made a really big jump. I was just working out every day. That's when I kind of started to change my diet. I used to eat
Mm.
super unhealthy, fast food, candy, all that, and I cut all that out and just started to eat really healthy. I kind of changed my body, and my junior year, I kind of went off, and when I when they told me I was coming back for SMU, I was really excited because it was the highest level in high school AAU basketball. Playing with Jeremiah, Jalen, Brady, we were extremely talented, obviously. And when we got together, like first session, we used that. We didn't really do good, but we used that as motivation, and it was more like getting our chemistry together. And then once we got later into like the third and fourth session, is when we really started clicking. And then we qualified for Peach, and we did decent, but not as good as we wanted to. But I feel like our chemistry on and off the court was insane. Just we loved being around each other. We were just in each other's rooms in the hotel, playing the game, even watching film together.
Yeah, so you said your junior year you made that really big jump, being over at Valpo High School, playing for your hometown high school. Like, was that really like that season, that high school season? Is that when that jump really happened? Just getting that work in and just doing really well at that level with your high school team? Was that really when that happened for you?
Yeah, the summer going in my junior year is when I changed everything. And my
Okay.
junior year, my sophomore year, we lost. We had a senior, Mason Jones, who's at Ball State now. So I was kind of behind him and the leadership role. And then junior year was kind of my team. So as a junior, I had to step up and be a leader and just kind of put the team on my back, just doing everything I can to help us win. And we ended up having a really good year because we had really good pieces who bought into their role. And that's kind of the year I went off.
Yeah. So took that leadership role your junior year. I mean, you're a big film guy. Like it sounds like you can make sure that your guys are locked in and like they're doing what they got to do off the court, even like you said, changing your diet and stuff, which is something that is really hard to do, but you got to do what you have to do to be successful. And I think you going down at Belmont, that's going to be really great for you with that, like because it's the next level and you're gonna have to make sure your body's right to compete. So would you say like you getting that leadership experience, your diet, and just you being a film junkie, like that's really gonna help you and make sure that you're ready for that adjustment getting over to Belmont next year?
Yeah, for sure. Like even the Belmont coaches, when I went on my official visit, was like trying to get me to have like an ice cream. And when I told them like before in the recruiting process, like that I eat healthy, like they were kind of really shocked because they don't really see a lot of guys in high school do it. And just being a leader, like at my high school, I kind of got guys to try to watch film and learn more about the game. And even here at Lumiere, I like try to get guys to eat more healthy. Like I'm gonna throw my roommate under the bus right now, but Jalen, he eats like junk, and like sometimes I'm like, come on, bro, like toss out the candy, and he's obviously doing great, so it's not affecting him. But I'm kind of trying to help him because I know in the long run in college at Notre Dame and professionally whenever he gets there that he's gonna have to change that eventually. So I'm just trying to help guys out. I'm just trying to change their diet, eating healthy and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Does that sometimes like do they get mad at you and then it's kind of like, oh man, like I'm trying to help you out, but like they'll just be like, oh man, like let me eat my candy. Like do those conversations ever come up at all?
Sometimes guys will listen to me and they'll be like, you know what, you're right. I'm not going to eat this piece of candy today. But then other times, like guys will joke with me and they'll be like, watch
Yeah.
out, Jack, you can't eat that. It doesn't have protein in it. Or like
Okay.
my team named Grayson,
I
who
got
like, you can't eat that, Jack. It has sugar in it. So sometimes they'll joke with me, but
you. Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. So before we get into just like what you're looking forward to most about next year and all that, going over to college, but I mean, right now, La Lumiere, like one of the top teams in the country, and being on a really big stage with them, getting to play top level competition from around the country, just what, and also going to top events like you said you were just at City of Palms and then gonna be over at Hoop Hall, like all these big events that have a lot of eyes on them. So just what has it been like for you going from Valpo to La Lumiere where it's the best of the best? Like just what has that been like for you, that adjustment?
Um, to be honest, it's been like the best decision I made just to be college ready. And when I got here, it was almost like a shock because of like how much different it was from my old school. Just like the workouts, the lifts are so much harder, practices, and it's kind of just been a big adjustment for me getting here. But I've loved it, and it's definitely gotten me prepared to be at the next level and these big time tournaments. I got injured at the beginning of the year, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't play in City of Palms or when we went to Oregon. I sprained my LCL, but I feel like sitting back and watching a couple tournaments was a big learning experience for me to know what I have to do to when I get back on the court to help us win even more. So I feel like it
Okay,
was, I wouldn't say a good thing that I got hurt, but it was almost, I got a lot of learning out of being injured for a couple tournaments.
for sure. Is that like I'm sure you're vocal on the bench, like making sure that your presence is felt and you're making sure like your guys are locked in out there. So is that are you're ready to get back on the court? I'm guessing you're ready to get out there with your guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just want to get back out there and play, but from the bench, I try to do as much as I can to help our teammates be the best for them on the court and just try to help us win from the sideline.
Yeah. What is that? What are those practices like? Just being in there with competitive guys, like, is the energy in there pretty intense, would you say?
Yeah, the energy is always really high. It's super competitive. If you decide to take a day off, you're gonna get exposed. So just you got to bring your 100%, 110% effort every day, or else you're gonna get exposed. And our coaches do an extremely well job of pushing us to be the best version of ourselves we can be because it's a long season and they all believe in us and they all push us to be the best version of ourselves.
And then, so looking ahead to next year, I'm gonna be down in Nashville at Belmont University. Man, I'll say this, like, eating good and all that, eating healthy, like, I mean, you got to have fun in Nashville though, man. Like it looks good down there. It looks like a fun time. So, just what was that like? Just your visit? Remember like being down there, getting to know the coaching staff. What stood out about Belmont, would you say?
I'd say the coaching staff and just the way they recruited me, they kind of made me feel like a priority. And I just kind of felt the love when I first got down there. They treated me really well, showed me everything on my visit, watched a lot of film, told me how I'd fit in, and introduced me to some good food down there. I had some brisket, so that was good.
Okay.
Getting down there, I mean, they kind of just laid it all out for me, showed me why they wanted me, why they were recruiting me, and I felt the love, and I just feel like it was the best fit for me.
Yeah. Is it different weather down there? Like it's a little bit warmer, right?
But yeah, they said they get all 4 seasons, but it doesn't really snow that much.
Okay.
And it rarely snows. They don't even have like snow equipment down there, so that's good. But uh, definitely some better weather than Indiana.
Hey, well, Midwest is
Yeah,
insane with snow.
yeah.
Yeah. So couple fun questions, I guess, just like little things like I saw. So you said TJ McConnell would be a player that you would want to play V1 against. Like what where why would you say that? Why would you say TJ McConnell?
Just because he's kind of my height, my build, like a smaller 6'2" white guard. I feel like he's kind of the person that I wouldn't say I need to be to get to the league, but it's kind of like someone who's literally in my shoes right now, or I could put myself in his shoes right now. So just playing him, I feel like would be almost equivalent to how much I need to get better to get to that stage.
Okay. Hey, well, you can see playoff time, the impact he makes
Yeah.
out there on the court. So, were you tuned in to like their run last year to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I didn't really watch the Pacers specifically too much. I mean, I kind of just watched the playoffs in general. But to be honest, I watch a lot more college basketball than NBA. But yeah.
And so, you model your game after Steph Curry.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, you're a lefty, like you're lefty. So, just describe your game for us. How you would describe it.
I'd say a high IQ guard who can shoot the ball really well, who gives his all every time he steps on the court and is a leader.
And then I like to end the conversations on this final question. The podcast is called Doubted. When
Uh-huh.
you hear that word, does that apply to your journey at all, or just how you feel you were perceived or have been perceived? Like, does that ring a bell to you? The word doubted at all?
A little bit, obviously got people always have their stories, but I feel like obviously someone's gonna doubt you in your life, whether you're little, big, everyone, there's gonna be haters no matter what. And you just got to tune them out and stay focused, work hard, and chase your dreams.
Hey Jack, well, I appreciate you coming on, giving me your time. Know you got some big events coming up, so just appreciate you coming on here. Sure, practices are heating up and all that, so thank you, and I'll definitely be tuned in to what you got the rest of this year and then going forward. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. No problem.
Yeah.